Welcome back to Ride JBI. This is JB. Today we finished a JBI Spec WP XACT Pro 7548 fork revalve. This fork was set up to our JBI suspension motocross spec. These forks are going on to a 2022 Husqvarna FC 350. During our JBI suspension revalve of these WP XACT Pro 7548 forks, there's a few hardware updates and exchanges that we do during that time. A JBI titanium subvalve is installed that replaces the stock compression post where the compression piston and valving mounts to. The compression post, the stock one, and the JBI subvalve interacts with the compression clicker. The compression clicker is what dictates how much oil can flow through the compression post, the stock piece, or the JBI titanium subvalve. The key difference is the JBI titanium subvalve allows for us to utilize a shim stack on the valve itself, where in stock form, we are not able to do that. Along with the titanium subvalve, the cone valve assembly is also updated to the JBI titanium leaf spring. That takes out the cone valve assembly on the compression side, and it updates it to a leaf spring style mid valve. That is one that utilizes shims. It is a mid valve that is very similar to what you'd find inside of a KYB SSS Gen 2 fork, both production and A kit. It is on the production 2018 Yamaha YZ450 to the current 2024 models, and likely won't change anytime soon. Those forks are very well known for their very good overall performance. By performance, I mean the ability to be comfortable and plush as you ride it, but also still have good hold up. Much of that can be attributed to those two items that we talked about earlier, the subvalve and the leaf spring mechanism. We have a complete product page with all the details of this JBI suspension revalve on these WP forks. We also offer it as a do-it-yourself install kit too. So if you don't want to send your WP cone valve forks to us, no worries. We're going to package up this same exact revalve into a nice DIY kit for you to install yourself. I'll have links down in the product description of the video down below for each of those. Now, if you're asking, well, why is Dry JBI doing these mods? Well, these forks are called a cone valve fork. That's another common name that they're known as. But what they really are is a twin chamber fork or a closed cartridge damper. That is the same style of fork as the KYB SSS, meaning a closed cartridge or a twin chamber, and is the same style of fork as a Showa one that you'd find in these Showa 49mm forks. So another way to expand upon this analogy is your Honda has a 4-stroke motor, a Yamaha has a 4-stroke motor, a KTM does. So they all run and function off the same governing principle of a 4-stroke motor, but they each have their own unique ways of building it and accomplishing that. And in this case, with WPs, they've done a really good job. They give us a really good base platform to start from. We just feel like there's two key areas we could really update these forks so that way these forks are much more closer hardware and component-wise to the current KYB and Showa offerings. And we do that, again, by installing the subvalve and utilizing that along with our JBI spec valving and updating the mid valve to a leaf spring style mid valve as well. We have nothing against cone valves at Ride JBI. We have cone valve settings as well. One of the reasons we mostly favor shims is the tunability option. When it comes to adjusting cone valves, there's a little bit more limited selection and tuning, and more importantly, the magnitude of the degree of change in tuning. Meaning when it comes to adjusting shims, we can make very, very small changes to the shim stack that have very little effect or influence, or we can make very big changes that'll have a very big influence or effect on the suspension. When it comes to cone valves, due to the nature of having to utilize different spring rates or different cone angles, there's a certain magnitude of change that always takes place. So it makes fine tuning a little bit more challenging at the mid-valve component of the fork. WP also has shown you that how well their same offering, and this is the XACT Pro and Explore Pro cartridge system. So it's the same cartridge system as you find in the cone valve forks or the XACT Pro. Those utilize a shim style mid valve. So same exact hardware as you'd find inside of the cone valve fork. Again, but it's just the cartridge insert and the key differentiator being how the mid valve is set up. We have another video on that on our YouTube page that you can check out if you want more details on that. So the main reason we do these settings, man, is because with these mods, it really updates these forks to the latest spec or style of a twin chamber fork. And with that, we can just further expand upon how well they perform. Again, they're already very good performing forks. And with these modifications, along with the testing, tuning, and development we've done, we'll be able to take these forks and make them perform on a whole nother level. Besides this JBI suspension motocross spec that we have developed, we've also tested, tuned, and developed many other suspension settings for all the various types of off-road riding, supercross, arena cross, and freestyle motocross. If you'd like Ride JBI to do your suspension, please give us a call, send us an email. We can talk about the year, make, model bike that you have, what options are available, and based on all that, what setup would be most advantageous for you. All JBI suspension services and parts can be found at ridejbi.com.